think that when we began with residents who were uncertain about our motive in wanting to bring them together, who some thought that this was an opportunity to complain about some of the maintenance issues they had that had been unresolved, and others were just curious about why we wanted to organize ourselves together.
When I first came to CPDC, I was really excited and interested in working with residents to lead initiatives in their communities. And I quickly learned in the first couple of months that we didn't have the trust of residents, and so asking them to lead initiatives that were of interest to them was a big ask. And so I approached some folks that I'd worked with in my previous position, now trusted space, Frankie and Bill, to support us and help us in building trust with communities.
Community network building is an approach to place-based transformation, really, place-based change, that's rooted in forging stronger human connections between and among neighbors, between residents and institutions.
One key ingredient is that there is sort of an initial team of people that share the assessment that what's happening right now isn't working, and we need to create an alternative culture, an alternative reality, and not bang our heads against trying to make whatever the current tenant association or the way that tenants and property management are getting along with each other, try to change that inside that box. We need to go and create, we often call it a new room, a figurative room. And then so that's one ingredient, this team of people that wants to create that room. And then the second important early ingredient is to then be able to share a story of what's going on and an invitation for a new way of greater aspiration and connection, and have that story be rooted in truth.
Initially, I told them what my ideas were, and they said, well, how can you be a part of it? How can you do the change? So I wanted to perfect what I wanted to do on the property. I wanted to know, I wanted to put forth some type of effort to make it possible. And I never been asked, how can I better this community, until I met with CPDC, some of the people from CPDC.
The one thing we have done consistently is have network nights here. So it's now been 4 years and we haven't missed a month of network nights.
It's very important that people attend, because on network nights we bring out the property manager, we bring out representatives from the building, from CPDC, which are the owners of the building. We also bring guest speakers, we bring all the residents together, and we give them that opportunity to raise any concerns they have, express any ideas they have that they may want support on, any initiatives that they would like to start. And we also use this time to announce programs that we have here in the communities.
Network night is so important for the community. The residents come out, they're engaged, they feel like they're part of the team, they fellowship together, they eat dinner together, and they don't look at us as just a landlord, but as a partner.
Network night is an intermediary approach and involves developing the leadership, which is fundamental in having a successful community, from the residents, for management, and for the property owner, and for the renovation.
I think there's been tremendous impact both internally and externally. Internally as an organization, I think the synergies are greater among and across the different business units around who we are and what we do together. I think in our communities, there's an awakening among residents who live in a community that they have individual authority to make change in their own way, but even greater authority to leverage that change as members of a team.
So many things have grown from that first network night. I think the biggest thing is the resident engagement and resident participation, which is really what we wanted to see, is that residents felt like this was their community, that they could lead initiatives, that they could take ownership and feel invested, and that they could work with property management to identify challenges and come up with the solutions to those problems. So we've had network action teams grow out of those, which is a group of residents that come together weekly for 6 months at a time. They go through a curriculum, they build trust, they plan initiatives in the community. It's a completely flat structure, so there's no president, vice president. It's really our alternative to a traditional tenant association, which many times can turn into a power struggle, a fiefdom.
CPDC may have came in right after our initial lease up around September or November. And the impact that they had with the program since they started has been tremendous. The reason for that is being a property manager, we have so many responsibilities. The primary responsibility is to take care of the physical aspect of the building. Where CPDC comes in is they help me and will help other managers with the social aspect of community building. It's really easy to fix a faucet, it's easy to fix a blind, it's easy to fix an AC, but it's really hard to get 150 residents to coexist. And that's the element that CPDC brings to Metro Village.
I think one of the most significant pieces is the relationships that were built among people. That's like neighbor to neighbor, folks who didn't know somebody right next door on their floor, developing relationships, and then neighbors, residents to staff relationships were built. And some of those relationships are turned into long-term friendships. And even when folks aren't necessarily like good friends, I think they've expanded their networks of support, right? People that they know they can come to for different reasons.
It just means that I can have an outlet to be able to help my community, give back, and be able to, volunteer and give time towards something meaningful.
I helped with planning the first Music in the Garden here. I've attended 2 CLI leadership conferences, one in Kentucky, another one in Ohio. I've applied for a grassroots grant and received that, and did a college shower for 2 12th graders or matriculating to post-secondary to college.
I have a small business called I Did It My Way, and if it had not have been for the network team or the people that are involved in the network team, I wouldn't have started it.
Well, as a floor captain, I try to let people know where things are, like the laundry room, the events that's going on.
The network nights allow us to get together with the residents, find out what their needs are, and allow them or empower them to take over the program and lead the community. So far, I think CPDC has been very successful in getting that done. Our participation has been increasing at every network night. The residents are involved. They are asking about what's happening next. They are developing websites. They are having their own groups that stems from Bible studies to current event talks and flower distribution. And the CPDC model seemed to be really successful because the challenge is always getting the residents involved, and we can't keep up with the demand that they have here based on how it all started with the network nights.
We have been here in this building. There are a lot of Ethiopians from the same community, we speak the same language, even though we have different religion, from different, ethnic background, but we are from the same Ethiopian and Eritreans. And one of our friend, she just, think about it. I think she got the vision. And why don't we share love to each other? When somebody, have a baby, we need to visit each other. Just, helping her. Just go out for shopping, grocery for her. So why don't we start just like small groups, Sisters Unity? Oh, that's a good vision.
As we are we live in CPDC. That's where we are from. When we go out, like you see the Sisters Unity lives in Montgomery, Park Montgomery, and this is what it is. The hand that shows that we are hand to hand, help each other. I mean, this is meant a lot to us. We've been through a lot since we've been together. We have some family problems that we've been together. There are a lot of 3 or some sisters lost their loved ones that we were there. We provide food, we serve people and everything.
CPDC support us financially, space, morally. Really, they are the one to support, and they are the one to help us to make our dream true.
A thriving community looks like neighbors helping one another and being involved in the advancement of one another. I mean, because they're really doing great work. I've never seen another property like that that's not a part of CPDC.
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of commitment and persistence and being willing to say that, this is something I believe in, it works, and I'm going to keep trying and keep working on it until there's a group of people in this community that believe in it as strongly as I do. And then ideally, it's not our role to kind of stay and make it happen. It's really up to the community to take it on.
If I had to look into a crystal ball 20 years out, what I would see is we no longer really talk about and have things called tenant organizations. Instead, we have these community networks of diverse people that include the staff and the property management and the maintenance workers. And then the other thing I see there is that we have ignited a movement to reform the way property management functions, because it is seen in such a unilateral way, and it is a limiting view that we have that's prohibiting these communities from really coming to life fully.